Hey guys, it's Jessica from Ari and Blair. We're gonna do a little beachy wave tutorial. We're just kind of doing our best to find ways to stay in touch with you guys. We miss being at work so much, all of us do. And yeah, who knows when all of this is gonna go back to normal. So just using our time kind of as best as we can, staying in touch through Instagram. So we're lucky to have that platform at all. So yeah, I'll get right into it. Basically, I have pin straight hair. This is huge right now because of all the steps that I took when I washed it today. So like I said, I have pin straight hair. It holds nothing. I could have a Shirley Temple curl and by the end of the day it falls out if I don't use product. And I know that sounds so cliche because people are like, oh, hairspray doesn't hold, like nothing holds. I think the trick is focus on the foundation instead of adding stuff afterwards because it doesn't. You're right. Like it just weighs it down. It pulls it out. It makes it heavy and it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look natural. It looks like you're going to prom. So your best bet is building in that product first. So yes, it looks like I need a haircut right now, which I probably actually do, but that's mostly because of all of the stuff that I have in it right off the bat. Excuse my posture. I'm trying to fit into this camera lens. So right off the bat, that's where obviously you want your heat protection in there, whatever you're using, whether it's a cream or a spray or even, some shampoos and conditioners have it built right in. I still think it's best to just add something just if you're going to be putting hot tools on it, which we are. So get that in there. Get something that adds texture. So even if you just have hairspray at home, and this is all going in damp, by the way. So put hairspray in when it's damp before you blow dry it, just a little bit, just so when it dries, it's not so slick and soft and slippery. If you don't have hair that is the same texture as mine, you don't have to add near as much product beforehand because it just does hold and does what you want it to do, which is so nice. I'm so jealous. But yeah, so get something in for texture. Beach sprays, salt sprays, texture sprays, even if they're designed to be used on dry hair, put them in when your hair is damp. I guarantee, like, give it a go. Get it at your root all throughout. And you'll be shocked at how much bigger your hair is. Like, I know this doesn't look big, but for me, this is really big because my hair is like this normally. So another thing that I like to do is while I'm doing my makeup, if you don't have the same routine, then don't worry about this. It's not that important. But sometimes I like to let my hair air dry. And you know, when you get out of the shower and maybe you had a towel wrapped around your head or something, but these pieces are almost like this. They're almost like coming back a bit. And I think naturally we want to brush through that. Don't, like, let it sit up like that and let it dry like that away from your face. Even if, like, I have a big forehead. Even if that's something that bothers you, don't worry. Like, this stuff is still, we're going to sweep it around and kind of like hiding our face anyways. So just kind of almost exaggerate what your hair wants to do when you get out of the shower. If you see these little babies kind of tightening up and curling or whatever, again, my hair hardly does that, but this morning I did get a little bit of a wave. Just keep it. Like, it makes it look so much more believable. And then I guess what I mean by that is, so like while you're doing your makeup or if you're running around the house, whatever, kind of just let that set like that. And then when you blow dry, don't necessarily go over those sections. You don't need to get right here with the curling iron anyways. So yeah, just kind of work with what you have, even if your hair is pin straight like mine. I also have a head of very grown out extensions in right now, as I'm sure a lot of you do, and I'm sorry. I wish there was something I could do. But yeah, if you see these little tapes, if you see these in my hair, that's extensions. Yeah, so I see a lot of people do these wave tutorials with a curling iron, which is beautiful. I find in my hair, it doesn't last as long as if I do it with a flat iron. I think it's because if I'm using a flat iron, I'm stretching it into that shape. Whereas if I'm using a curling iron, I'm just laying it on something hot Do you know what I mean? I always compare it to curling a ribbon with scissors. That doesn't even require heat, and it gets a perfect curl. So that's kind of, in my hair, how I find it works. There's definitely situations where I use a curling iron. If I kind of want it to look good for that day, then I'll use a curling iron. But if I use a flat iron, I can wake up, I can brush it, I can get 5 days out of my waves. So I'm going to do that. And that kind of helps you guys that do use a flat iron also, because I know a lot of you can do both and you kind of want to know the difference of how it looks. So yeah, I'll jump right in. Sectioning. When I do my client's hair in the chair, I never section. I have a little bit more control over where the hair is sitting. And so it's just, I just find it just slows me down. But at home, it's awkward doing it on yourself. So I always find it much easier to section. I kind of try to section along, if you kind of, it's called your parietal ridge, but the widest section of your head. The difference between it is where hair falls straight down because it's hanging, right? Whereas the hair rounds over the curve of your head. So at your parietal ridge, that's kind of where that, I guess, transition happens. So I always kind of try to section along that because that affects how my curls are sitting. Like my bottom half, they definitely kind of piece together. And then my top ones, I like to kind of rely on for volume and texture. Again, I have a long layered haircut. If you have a completely different haircut, it's not going to do the same thing. If you have some really short layers on top, go way looser with your curl. A really easy way to do that is, if you're not good at adjusting the actual motion, is to just lower the temperature. If you lower the temperature but do the exact same motion, you're not going to get as strong of a curl as you did for your longer layers where you actually kind of need a little bit of a tighter curl because it's going to drop so much. But on the top, if you have really short layers, or also if you're blending short hair into extensions, really good trick. Do your extensions kind of, again, it depends on how your hair holds, but just kind of do the top layer a little bit looser so that it can fall into the extensions. So now I'm going to do section. So basically what I just said, your parietal ridge. I also kind of have to follow where my extensions are too, just so I don't get too much hair on top. And I do have hair that you can put in a scrunchie for 5 seconds and leaves a mark. We're gonna be smoothing over it with the iron anyways, so I kind of just wrap it up in a bun. I don't like my hair falling out while I'm doing it. And then I use myself to section because it's just easier. So whenever I divide the bottom half in half, and then I put all the hair on this side over my shoulder, and as I curl, I leave the sections forward, and that's how I organize my hair while I'm curling it. And then I'll show you once we get to the second layer kind of how I organize that. I'm gonna try to do this quicker than normal because it's a video, and I mean, you guys do have all day, but I'm just gonna try to hurry it up because I also don't want it too tight. So Erica and we went to Dallas for some amazing training with Evo in, oh my goodness, what month was that? January? Anyways, it was incredible. We learned the most amazing things that I've probably learned in my career. A huge thing was I never paid attention to temperature. If you know me, you know I'm a slow stylist, and I always just crank my volume up because I need to hurry up. And me hurrying up, it still takes 20 minutes to curl your hair. It's not like I rush things. It's just I kind of need all the help I can get working faster. So I always just have my temperature way up. However, we did an awesome little experiment, I guess, on a mannequin when we were in Dallas with Evo, and Lauren McCowan, she's like, if you can look her up on YouTube or Instagram, just so, first of all, freaking hilarious. Second of all, so inspiring. Third of all, so knowledgeable. She just knows her stuff so well. And it made her so easy to listen to. But anyway, she showed us this cool experiment where you, on the back of a mannequin, we split it into 5 different sections. And on the left side, we started with really, really high heat. Or sorry, opposite. We started on really, really low heat with our flat iron and doing a flat iron curl. We did the exact same motion all the way across, but we increased the temperature on each section. The first section was on the low heat. It was looser, it was soft, but the shine and the texture was insane compared to the far right, where it was a really tight curl, but the texture was rough. There was no shine. And it blew my mind that a temperature could, I know it sounds obvious, but a temperature affected that many factors of how the hair looked. So that's another thing. If you're creating kind of a glam wave for like a party or something, doing a low temperature will really enhance the shine, because she taught us the difference. Basically, if I think she said anything under 340, you're actually sealing the outer layer of the hair, which is called the cuticle. You're sealing it down. You're locking in moisture. You're laying it flat, just like if you round brush it, or what conditioner does. All these things that are smoothing close the cuticle and allow the light to bounce right off of it. Whereas if you're using really high heat, you're actually blasting that cuticle, roughing it up, and actually sucking out all the moisture. So then at the end, you have no shine left. There's no moisture in your hair. It's so dry. It's so frizzy. So in Calgary, I know that sounds like it won't work, but try it. Turn your temperature down and you will be shocked at how your hair looks. So yeah, anyways, turn your iron. I like to be about 370, let's say, because again, I have hair that it doesn't look healthy, but it is pretty healthy and it doesn't hold anything. So I've got it at about 370. I don't need it at 450. That's just, honestly, we don't need that. So, I have a lot of breakage right here. I have like kind of a mullet going on almost. So I like to kind of not pay attention to this, because I feel like the first curl I do kind of sets the standard for how I do the rest of my curls, and I don't want them all to be as, I'll explain later, but I don't want them all to sit like this short little chunk does. So there's an extension right there. But I'm going to start honestly right behind it. And I'm going to be grabbing pretty decent sized sections of hair, because like I said, I want this to be, the bigger the section, the looser the wave you end up with. And I don't want this to be so tight. I almost want it to look like I did it yesterday. And I've slept on it. So again, my hair falls out really fast. So I'm going to start my wave as high up to my root as I can, leaving a lot of my ends out. If I curl my hair starting right here and go to the end, what happens? Basically, by the end of the day, or for me in an hour, it's straight Shirley Temple. And I'm not going for that look. So I'm going to start as high as I can, because then when this curl relaxes, the wave sits in the middle and my ends are straight. So it goes smooth, wave, smooth. And that's kind of how I want my waves to sit. So I'm just gonna do a section. So basically I'm gonna go in here. I only turn it one time and I'm just sliding it down in one motion, and leave your ends out. Don't touch your ends, okay? Really straight ends. Looks kind of weird right now. It won't in a minute. Now that I see kind of where this first curl's starting, I'm gonna go in and do my front piece. It just kind of reminds me not to go too tight on the front piece. So, trick. If you have breakage around your face, if you have extensions, curl this top layer all the way in, all the way to the end, so that it sits within the other curls when we pull it apart. And that kind of hides the fact that you have all this breakage at the front, or extensions, or whatever you have. So yeah, don't be too picky with your sections. I've never quite figured out how not to be, but so clamp it in, one turn, as close to the root as I can, one movement down, leave your ends out. Okay, a little bit looser, good, I want that. I think my front one was a little bit too tight. And see how kind of easy it is to be organized when you're just honestly using your shoulders to section. It just kind of keeps everything where you need it to be. Okay? If you want it to be really tight, if you need this to last for a week, do a tighter wave day 1. It always looks better day 2, in my opinion. I don't like hair being, again, believe it or not, too perfect. I have breakage back here, so it's really short. So I'll kind of reach behind my head and look in the mirror, clamp this, and then just bend that guy one time, because if I do it from the front, I can't get close enough to the root and it just falls out. And it shows, it sticks out right here. Because I have so much product from before I blow dried in my hair right now, that's why I keep brushing it, because it's just a little bit, not crunchy, but it's not soft by any means. Which I want. I don't want my hair to be soft. We'll brush it later, we'll smooth it out. But when we're building in this foundation that we want it to hold for a long time, just get it as dirty and textured as you can. So again, reaching behind my head again for this one, because I'm now at the back of my head. I wrapped it around and I turn once. And my ends fell out. So if you saw that my ends didn't stay in when I was moving my iron, come back to the front and kind of like find where the curl starts to bend. Clamp down. Oh my goodness. Okay, that one just doesn't want to cooperate. And just recurl it. Just grab the section again. Again, ends out for the boys. Jokes. Then, I'm almost at the middle of the back of my head. So that one went too curly, so I'm just going to run over it really quick. No, I'm going to go again. Too tight. And then, if you think about it, once you get to, before I move to the top, I'm going to brush it out. So if you think about it, if I do my whole bottom half and then at the end I brush it out, this stuff got to sit way longer than this stuff. So once I get to the middle, which, let me do one more. Once I get to the middle, now I'm going to brush this because I want it to start to relax and set together. It will make it stronger. Every little sausage curl sitting by itself won't sit near as strong and last as long as something that is sitting together. Everything's supporting each other, okay? And don't do this stuff. Get in there and brush it. You will like the look of it more, I promise. And then people will say, oh, it falls out. No, it doesn't. Literally push it back up again. It's set like that. Like the bonds are broken and reformed to this shape. It will relax for sure, but it's there. That shape is there. So do that. And then we're going to come to the other side. So now I do the opposite. Instead of starting with my hair in the back and setting it forward, I'm going to start with my hair in the forward or in the front and putting it back. And I do something kind of weird and gross. When I'm sectioning this side, I use my mouth to hold the hair out of the way. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Anytime I'm doing this in the salon, people are like, what is going on? See, I just use... Okay, that's weird. I'm not going to use my mouth on the video. I'm going to try to do it without holding it in my mouth. I do it in my mouth so I can get close enough to the... Okay, I'm using my mouth. There, I need to get nice and close to the root. This side I struggle to get as close to the root as I do on the other side. So that's why it really actually does matter. that I'm sectioning with my mouth. Okay. Be patient with yourself. If you're not getting the right shape right off the bat, it's fine. You just have to keep on practicing. One day it will click. And I know a lot of you kind of freak out because it gets all these little crimps in it if you don't have the motion kind of down. First of all, your iron's too hot then. It shouldn't be leaving a mark in 2 seconds of being on your hair. Second of all, it's going to fall. It's going to relax. If you're worried and telling me that you're scared that your curls are going to fall out, your entire curl will fall out, then I can guarantee you a tiny little crimp mark is not going to be there in an hour from now. See, this is where my mouth is just so handy. Okay, I'm getting a little bit too tight with my curls on this side, so I need to stop making them so tight. Also, I guess I should talk about the iron I'm using. I like a really, really fat barreled, it's not a barrel, but iron. This one is a Hair Art. It's literally off Amazon, and I've had this, not the same one, I bought it like 6 times, but since I was 13 years old, and it always kind of varies how much it is on Amazon. I've got it for $60, I got it for $120, like it always just changes because I honestly don't think there's many left. But it's, that didn't really make sense, but I don't know why it always varies in price. But yeah, it's my favorite. I don't like it for straightening hair. It doesn't get the hair. If you have any texture to your hair, it's not awesome for straightening, but for waving, it is my favorite. You don't have to be so conscious about the movements you're making because it is so like wide. It just kind of does the work for you, honestly. Whereas if you're using a really skinny iron, I feel like you have to focus so hard on not wrapping it around too many times or whatever. This, you can kind of wrap it as often as many times as you want. And as long as you just kind of keep it, that sliding motion consistent, it's just going to be a perfect wave. There's lots of brands that have fatter irons. The GHDs are actually a pretty perfect width too. So again, we're getting up close to this front section that I just don't want it to be too tight because, I don't know, it just doesn't sit cute when it's too tight. So I want that to be, like, see, it just... And then this guy, my little sideburn. Oh yeah, I meant to have music playing. Oops, I'm boring. Okay, now I'm gonna brush. I let this sit for like 2 seconds while I'm talking. Okay, then I'm gonna brush that out. So now they kind of both got brushed out right after they were set, which, okay, my legs are killing me. Which, it just kind of, if you do the whole thing and do it all at the end, it's just so not, balanced, like how long everything sat for. Ugh. Anyone else just living in track pants? Can't complain. Okay, so now I consciously or purposely left my part because it just makes this step easier to section. So I literally kind of go like this, and then I find where my part ends, and I use my finger to just split it right down in the middle so that I don't have to drop this hair. And then I think I use my mouth again. Oops. Okay, so that's not cute, but it gets my section nice and neat for me. So that I'm not mixing my top with my bottom. If you haven't noticed, I'm a massive perfectionist. Okay, and now I use my mouth again. So I start at the back. So this is where you kind of get to tailor it to whatever your hair cut, hair texture is. You can, on the top part, again, if you have those short layers, go a little bit looser with your wave. So turn your temperature down again. If you have really frizzy hair, maybe on the top you want to kind of run over it with your iron first or a round brush first and then start your waves. Or if you let's say you want it just really big and really messy, alternate the direction that you're waving. So go one forward, one back, one forward, one back. The front section always wrap away from your face. It's very, if you're going for a natural beachy look, if you're going for glam, wrap towards your face. It's very old school Hollywood. It's the quickest way to do, yeah, next time you're going to a party, do a deep side part and wrap both sides towards your face and brush it out and run a serum over it. It's stunning. But I don't want to look like that. I want to be not so put together today. So we're going to do, yeah, I'm going to start at the back, working my way forward again. I always do that on the left side for some reason. Okay, maybe I can set this down instead of holding it in my mouth. And I won't lose my section. We'll try. Starting really high up because mine falls out really fast. So if your ends are a little fuzzy from being in that scrunchie, you can just, after you've done your curl, do your whole curl and then set it down. Pick it, or I'll show you. Pick it, do your curl. And then see how my ends are just a little bit, ugh. Just kind of quick go over it, just for a sec. Also, I guess I didn't talk about this, but I don't know if you noticed, when I'm at the top, like when I'm near the top of the hair shaft, moving towards the end, I go really slow on the top, towards the top of my head, because for me personally, that hair has not been processed. It hasn't been bleached ever. It's very new hair. I'm just talking kind of here to here. So I kind of have to go a little bit slower on those areas because I need them to hold, and they just need a little bit more encouragement than the ends do. And then once I get to the ends, I go much faster or completely let it off altogether. My ends are honestly very processed. They need 2 seconds and then it takes the shape. I think one of the most important things is leaving so much of your ends out. Like, that's so much straight hair, which I think feels bizarre to people, but trust me, if you do it, you're going to love the outcome way more than when it falls and it's straight on top and it's so curly on the bottom. That's just not really what people are going for right now. Might come into style again. Okay. I want my ends messy. I don't want them perfect. I'm at half an hour already. Cheapers. How do people do this? Okay, I'm going in. I'm deciding to do mine all one way because I find it holds way longer when I go all the same direction with my waves. Again, because they're kind of sitting within each other, it just makes it a stronger hold. Whereas when I'm doing just huge hair, kind of if I was going out that night, if if I'm just doing huge hair and I'm alternating the direction that my waves are sitting, they're all kind of fighting each other, so it's not near as strong. If you have hair that doesn't fall out, then always alternate, because it's really, really beautiful, and it's a lot more, it is a little bit more natural looking and beachier. Mine won't hold long enough if I do it that it's like even worth putting in the time of doing my hair. Leave your ends so messy. It's so much, it's just beachy. Ends aren't perfect and beachy, natural beach waves. There's even like some people with like beautiful wavy naturally curly hair. Like sometimes they'll have pin straight pieces, and it's just more believable. It's pretty, it's natural. So don't be too, again, ultimate hypocrite, but don't be too perfect about it. My iron has like a dial, and so sometimes my thumb hits it, and I just want to make sure I didn't turn it down or up too high. So I find that with my clients, I either have, and myself, I find that it either goes, the front section of your hair either falls the fastest or won't fall at all. I think it depends on how much it's been processed and the porosity. But mine, for some reason, falls really fast at the front. So I kind of like to do the rest of my hair a little bit tighter than I like to do no, that's wrong. I like to do the front pieces a little bit tighter than I do the rest of my hair, because it just does fall faster on me. You know your hair best. You know if it kind of stays tight or if it relaxes. And I also find with the front pieces, like I think we just go over them and style them way too much that you almost only get like one shot, and then that's what you get. Because if you try to go over them again, they're just done until you wash them and blow them out again. So I have sort of bangs that are grown out right now. So I kind of do, they're just getting long enough where they're like past my cheeks. So I think I'm going to do this in one section. We'll see. When my bangs were shorter, I would break it up. So I would do a section, I would do this long face framing stuff, and then I do the bang separate, because I needed to get, I found if I was doing it all together, I'd get just bend in the very end of this front piece, and it would kind of go straight and like this. So if I do it separate, I can get really close to the root with this front guy and start it lower with this guy, and then they just sit beautifully together. But I think, I haven't curled my hair in like a couple weeks right now. I think I can do it all in one go. Let's see. This piece is so important and cute to leave this stuff straight. This is the front piece. This is what people see. So leave this straight. Yes. I am running out of coffee. Okay, brush it. And last side. So again, again, I will start, no, now I start at the back again. But I think I use my mouth again. Yes, I do. I'll try and hurry up. At least I'm easy to follow along with because I take so long. Well, these track pants are very flattering when you're sitting. Okay, almost done. So this side I am wrapping, sorry I didn't explain that. This side I'm wrapping a few more times because I can't get my wrist in the right position to do that kind of inside out pull down movement on this side. So I almost clamp down, spin, sometimes even more than that on this side. Depends how tight I need it to balance this side. Another trick, another really good trick, if you're really struggling with this right side, hold it over on this side. This obviously only works on the top, but hold it over here and do the exact same motion you did on this side. When you flip it back, it's the same. It's balanced. So that's a really good trick if you're struggling with this side, especially these front pieces. Another way is to do it kind of from the bottom instead of the top. So if I clamp in here and I swing it around and bend, I'm holding onto the end so it doesn't fall out, because that's a pain in the butt when you're doing this side. I'll get a much more side or similar outcome as the other side when I kind of go from under. Now I lost my front piece. So this side I am actually doing it separate from the other side, or separate from the section behind it. And I think I like that guy better. So maybe I'll quick touch this guy up. Straighten those bangs out. If you don't have those, just make sure whatever your front pieces look like, have the ends so straight. It's so cute. Okay, brushing this side. Aggressively, do not be careful, or don't be afraid to brush them out. It's so necessary for this look. Okay. Now, I have to say, I flew home at the very beginning of this so I could be kind of on lockdown with my family instead of alone in my house. So I don't have any of my good product with me. But what I would recommend right now, if I had my plethora of amazing Ebo products, I would go in with, I'm just looking if there's pieces I want to straighten more. I would go in with, honestly, a dry shampoo in my whole head, because that's my favorite thing for just creating not perfect hair. I love a good dry shampoo. Evo's is amazing. It smells delicious. It lasts really long. There's a lot of product in there, which I appreciate because of the amount of product I go through. A serum on your ends can be really pretty. Again, anything glossy and shiny is definitely more glam, but if you're like, now that we have so much product in our hair for this, it's actually really nice to put in something smoothing on just your ends, just the very ends, to lay that cuticle down, and so it doesn't look like you need a haircut, because my ends are, yep, those are my ends right now. So anyways, dry shampoo through your whole head, not just at your root. Go in like crazy, brush it through. I always see people, also including myself, but there's always powder on your hair, and a really good way to get through it, that is hit it with your blow dryer for like 2 seconds. It blows all the extra, I guess, particles off. And then brush it through too, so that it gets all the way through, and you'll get way more time out of your, you'll get more days out of your style if you add dry shampoo day 1. Get it in there. It absorbs oil when you sleep the first night. If your front pieces go too curly, I'll do this for like the first couple hours. I'll just tuck them. That way I kind of just almost just get that bend from my ear that I want around my face. If you are someone who likes volume, which I know this sounds crazy, but volume, height is not in right now. If you look on Instagram models, celebrities, they're literally slicking their hair to their head, and they're creating volume horizontally. They want it big here, not high. So stop worrying about getting that huge volume right here. Keep it flat. Trust me, you're trendy. This stuff, we want it big in here, and messy and not perfect. So a really good way to do that is, yes, dry shampoo, flip your head upside down, hit it with some hairspray, flip back over. You can go in with root dusting powders, and it's really cool. Actually, put like a root powder on your brush and brush through your hair. There's so many awesome ways to create volume and stuff that holds all day, but doesn't make your hair feel really nasty. And I just have to say, like, Evo is 100% my favorite brand for creating these products that you can layer and layer and layer to create any look you want without your hair feeling like you need to go back to the shower and wash it again. If you have any questions, just message any of us at Ari and Blair. We're all pretty well versed on Evo. We also have R & Co. And between those two lines, I guarantee you'll find the perfect kind of concoction of products you need to get a beachy outcome in your hair. So I guess it kind of sucks that I can't really show you the finished effect with product because I don't have any. Hi Evo, send me some. Just kidding. But anyways, yeah, this is kind of your beach wave. And in the morning, day 2, go in with your dry shampoo at your root, a little bit throughout. Hit it with your, or brush the dry shampoo through again. Hit it with your blow dryer, flip your head upside down, hit it with your blow dryer. Honestly, like, good to go. It'll be beautiful. It looks better when it's not so perfect. Day 2, day 3, okay, your hair's not so, perfectly uniform waves. It doesn't matter. It looks better when it relaxes. Trust me. And yeah, if you have any questions, message me. Also, don't judge my color. I haven't been in the salon in a while. Okay. Hope you guys are doing well. Take care. Bye.